Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Lloyd Skinner. I'm the CEO and founder of Greyfly.ai. We've created an intelligent project prediction tool that uses AI to provide executives with delivery intelligence to increase project success. Today, I'm with Nivarti from India as another project expert who's going to talk to us about the uptake of AI in project management. Nivarti, would you like to introduce yourself? Give us a little bit of background about who you are.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I don't know what time it will be for those watching. So I'm Nivarti Jayaram, based out of Bangalore in India, and currently working with Societe Generale as a Chief Data Officer right now. I've been with project management for probably more than 2 decades, and it's great to be working across diverse ways of delivery, if I may say so, or diverse ways of working and leading as well. So I've led projects that transformed enterprises in a traditional way, and of course, I've been privileged to have done that even in an agile way of working, or new ways of working is the term people use nowadays for that. So and that's about me in short, but we can go through otherwise.
Nivarti, I think you're a published author as well, aren't you?
Yes, I have published 2 books so far. The first one was Unlearning. It's more of how you can be a better coach and drive conversations effectively. And the second one was about resilience, how to bounce back. So that was the second book. And of course, the third book I'm working on, which I'm quite passionate about these days, is Leave Your Monkey at the Door. So
Sounds fantastic. Sounds fantastic. And I would encourage people to look at Nivarti's LinkedIn profile. He's only given you the tip of what he's done there. He's highly experienced in the projects world. So Nivarti, with that as a background, in terms of AI and project management, what sort of use cases do you see?
I see quite a bit of possibility there. Again, I don't know means how much we can really get to, but as we mature in using AI, I think it will grow further because we would have more learning models available for AI to explore itself and learn from. So one of the use cases that I can think of is we work usually with a big scope when we are talking about traditional projects, right? So can AI look at probably chunking them down into smaller components, which can help us deliver value faster to the customers? That's one common, I wouldn't call it complaint, but an issue that everyone raises today in the world, to say that if I'm looking at 1200, 1500 requirements, and then I'm looking to deliver in a period of 9 to 12 months, by the time we get to the delivery, we're not sure whether the project is relevant anyway, right? So the customers are moving on faster. That means we need people to be getting value much more sooner than later. So one of the use cases that I think of is, can AI help logically chunk down the big set of requirements into smaller components, Lord?
Okay. And anything else that jumps to mind?
Uh, there are a couple more, and when I look at it from more a higher viewpoint of, let's say, a portfolio management perspective, right? So can really AI help us understand the prioritization when we think of delivering through value streams as against delivering through projects, right? So how can we look at prioritizing our funding to maximize the portfolio returns, right? So looking at multiple components there, we can think of the opportunity costs, we can think of the market impact or value delivery. There could be multiple dimensions for the AI model to look at and consider, and really bring out that insights for the portfolio managers and even organizational leaders to say, okay, probably you are better off investing here than there, which takes a lot these days, right, to really arrive at. That's another one which I'm thinking through. And when we think about even program management, I'm just transversing across the layers really. So logically thinking about when you have moved from a project-based portfolio structure to product-based portfolio structure, so can we think about helping organizations seamlessly migrate across? So how AI can help organizations to move across from delivering through projects to probably delivering through product portfolios? Is that something that's pretty big? But if we can really give that kind of mapping for organizations to say, if these are the projects you are running today, these are the programs, this is how you are mapping your benefits, this is how it can move into product base.
Excellent, excellent. And you can see that your agile background comes through with some of those ideas. So just to summarize then, so chunking projects down, prioritization of projects, and it's sort of related to the last one as well, which is how to go from a project dimension to a product dimension. You know, any one of those three is pretty substantial if you could get it right. But you know, at the headline level, what sort of benefits would that give you?
If we come from the top, let's say you are coming from portfolio perspective, right? So it helps you to maximize the returns for the organization. It helps you to maximize value delivery for the customer, right? So better utilization of people in the organization, which would improve, engagement factor as well, which we strive for, and better work prospects for people to focus on, right? So, and you can remove a lot of waste from the system rather than projects being looked at more operational perspective. So rather than looking at them from being cost effective, we can move to more value effectiveness. So that's the big shift.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. And do you think that would be different depending on the sector that you were in or the type of project or?
I don't think so, because the dimensions would remain same. What would you consider in order to really prioritize, right? So if you think of few of the dimensions, you look at strategic alignment as one, you look at market impact or current market rhythms that you could capitalize on as another one. And you also look at what is the priority of the organization. When we say that we may look at inward towards what organization wants, is that the focus or is the customer the focus? So is it an inside out focus or an outside in focus?
Gotcha.
So that also is a positive dimension to think of. So when you look at all these dimensions and you have a certain constraints of funding, we all operate with constraints, right? So in today's world, how much you can maximize your investment, and that can be at different scales, whether you are looking to expand, whether you are looking to sustain, or whether you are looking to survive.
Yeah.
Right. And those three dimensions can have different scale of managing funds and looking for returns as an organization. So,
the same across sectors. That's interesting. And certainly that's my view at a certain level. If you're looking at the top-down approach, why would it differ between sector? You know.
Yeah, dimensions would remain same. How you would weigh those dimensions might differ based on what your domain is and how that domain is today in terms of the market operations or the business environment across the globe. So that may differ, but overall modeling wise, I don't think it would be too different across domains.
Gotcha. So we've got three great use cases. We've got the view that they'd give us great benefit that would be the same across sectors, but you know, surely there's got to be some challenges with this, you know, to make it happen. What sort of challenges would you see?
I think few, definitely one is the awareness part. How much the people are aware about what they are doing. When I say that, I may probably offend a few people. A lot of times we are in the flow. We don't pause and reflect as an organization, as a leadership group. So we are in the flow. Are we looking to really understand how is our strategy delivering today? We may look at it more from an operational standpoint, but are we holistically looking at it? So that may be one of the challenges really. What is our state of awareness holistically from an organization standpoint, right? And how much we are able to visualize, defining the organizational end state for a certain period, and understanding what are the services that we are providing and how that might be positively or negatively be influenced by the risks that the world is facing today, or by the technology dimensions and the upgradations, the innovations that are happening, and also the business domain where we are operating. What is our concentration from a business perspective, right? So those are the challenges, how aware the organization is. And another important element, I think, also is the awareness of their risk appetite. Many times we are driven by what our competitors do than what our strengths drive us to be.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking in terms of, chunking a project down into the right components. I was sitting here thinking, oh, that makes logical sense, but I'm wondering, on what basis would a system, chunk something down? It's got, what knowledge does it have to be able to make that decision? And I get the point about awareness and knowledge, but I was wondering whether there was, some technical constraints as well, for example.
Technical constraints would be there. Of course, those have to be built into the system to say, we talk about the architecture foundations to be laid for a system to be built, right? So that model has to be embedded to learn to say that, okay, do we have the infrastructure ready? Is it on cloud? Is it on a traditional infrastructure today as well, right? What is that we are building? What is the complexity? What are the major value delivery milestones or outcomes that we are looking for? I think those would be the learnings a particular model would need. How do you define value is a big differentiator for the model itself, because each organization might define value based on their own terms.
Gotcha.
Right. So what value means to me may not be the same to me.
So you'd have to go through a process to determine what value meant for the organization, overlay that on your historical projects, and consider how you then overlay that on your current projects.
Yeah, and also look at where does this project belong? Which product are we talking about? What is the product vision, right? How is the project contributing to that vision? And then be able to visualize, okay, how do you then logically break those, overall scope down?
Wow. Okay. So it's starting to sound more complex by the second.
It is complex, and that's what we hope AI does for us, right? So how can it make or simplify the complexity? That's what we are looking for. So
and because there's so much complexity, you're thinking that AI could help with it.
Ideally, it should. Otherwise, humans can do it if AI can't do it faster. So we expect to do it faster, do it meaner, and do it more, with less, I would say, human constraints driving it. Right?
Oh, you almost said human bias then, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay. So there's some challenges there in terms of determining the model, determining the build of a system. Assuming you could overcome those challenges, what would you do initially to be able to move those challenges forward?
I think looking at all three use cases, it provides different value for different organizations, and it should be about what is their current pain point in the system, right? So if I am an organization that is looking at probably maximizing the returns from how I am investing in a portfolio, I would use that model right now. Maybe I'm not really keen on looking at how my project breakdown is currently, right? So my focus is at what level within the organizational system. Ideally, you would need all three if you want to really master the, organizational returns or value delivery per se. But I would say it depends on organizational intent and also their current pain points that they want to address to see which one they start with.
So a practical action would be to determine what the pain points are, get collective agreement as to what those pain points are and what the vision may be as well.
Absolutely. And that is when you decide which of these could probably help them, whether all of them would help or only a particular place they want to start right now. Where do they see value from an organization perspective?
Gotcha. So we've gone through, we've undertaken that practical action, we've worked out the pain points, we've determined our vision of what we're trying to get to. So what's stopping an organization getting on with it now then?
I think probably the possibility. They see it more as a constraint than a possibility. So right now, do we want to invest on building something? Maybe the case, right? So if there is a ready-made model, many people might take it today rather than thinking about building it themselves.
Gotcha.
How do we see that as an opportunity for us to work with today, right? Because it needs certain investment for sure. And it needs effort also for sure. So it's a product idea, like you have started delivering project intelligence. So
yeah, so brilliant. You need to get people behind it. You need to, obviously, without people behind it, you won't get the investment behind it, but you've got to get that vision going.
Absolutely, yes. So and then comes the build or buy. So and the cost factor would define whether they look into build that or they leverage Greyfly.ai for helping them out with that.
Not just Greyfly. I mean, there are other vendors available, obviously, but in terms of that build or buy, I think it's really interesting in terms of AI and project management and that conversation. I don't think it's necessarily had enough yet in terms of build or buy.
Absolutely. I think not many people have gotten into AI in project management yet. One of the things we explored was to see how we can automate, transformation of applications to cloud. That is where we thought of exploring AI to say, okay, given the standard models based on application complexity, can we look at using AI to really migrate applications from a traditional monolithic to more cloud-based applications? So that was something we thought of, but not enough focus, not enough innovation or thought process has gone into this yet. And that's where when you reached out, I was pretty curious to get an understanding of what your mindset is. How are you looking at it as well?
Yeah, brilliant. Well, Nivarti, thank you very much for this short chat today. Just before we sign off, is there one last thing in terms of a takeaway for the audience?
Build smarter, build faster is what I would say.
Fantastic. There you go. There's a man from an agile world. Nivarti, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me here.